Good evening, I'm John Carter and welcome to Poland Daily. Today at 3 p.m, people all over the world went out onto the streets to say the chaplet of Lord's Mercy and to celebrate the Hour of Mercy. This type of prayer is said to be a cure for all evil. The 28th of September is also the anniversary of the blessing of Michał Sopocka, St. Faustina Kowalska's confessor.
The Catholic initiative took place for the 11th time. The joint prayer all over the world was coordinated by Father Remigiusz Rzecław, together with the Spark of Lord's Mercy organization. The main goal of the chaplet is to go out on the streets and pray in an unusual way with others and to teach this form of prayer to other people. It's a duty of all Christians to share the Lord's Gospel. I see it every year, the importance of standing together in a public place, being proud of our faith. Every year there are more and more of us. I was very happy because I saw many of our parishioners and my fellow sisters. There were also quite a few kids and young people. It's an unusual prayer because we rarely pray on the streets. There is a great feeling of community and you could reflect on your own as well. I'm very glad I could take part in this prayer. I prayed for all the sick and elderly people to get better. In previous years, the initiative was supported by, among others, Pope Francis. The chaplet, set in the memory of Faustina Kowalska, who got a revelation from Jesus in 1935 about the prayer, is one of the most popular prayers around the whole world. It's even recited in African tribal languages.
Claire, a controversial film about the Catholic Church in Poland, enters cinemas today. Wojciech Smarzowski, an acclaimed Polish director, says that his film targets the weaknesses of priests but is not an anti-church movie. According to many critics, Smarzowski's film is a one-sided and unjust portrayal of the Polish Church.
The film's director promises that his movie uncovers the hidden truth behind the Catholic Church in Poland. The film stirred up controversy long before its premiere. We asked viewers to give us their opinion about Smarzowski's film. It's very good that such a film was made. We all know how bad our church is and how many problems there are with the clergy. The film portrays just 0.1% of all priests, just like there probably is about 0.1% of pedophiles among, let's say, normal people. There probably is not even that many. It is easy to spit on everyone around. It is simply a dishonest portrayal. I am against such films. They cause harm. The priests have always and will always help people. That is their function. According to Jakub Jałowiczor, a columnist of the Catholic Gość Niedzielny Weekly, the film is a very controversial portrayal of just a small fraction of the Polish Church. The interest as well as the outrage with regard to this film is based on the fact that it shows only the dark side of the Church. As the film's director has proven to us with his previous work, it was predictable that this movie would be controversial, airing out the dirtiest of dirty laundry. The film was certainly created from a strong emotional standpoint.
Narzeka na to, że w Polsce odprawianych jest 5 mszy dziennie, kiedy w Czechach jest 1 w tygodniu.
We witnessed a tense day of testimony from Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh and Christine Blasey Ford, who has accused Kavanaugh of sexually assaulting her in high school. The United States Senate is expected to take up a vote on his confirmation in the coming days.
Christine Blasey Ford showed her face publicly for the first time since the scandal erupted. She described the alleged sexual assault, which was to occur in the summer of 1982 at a party in a house near Washington, D.C. As she says, if the assailant was not so drunk, she would have been raped.
I was pushed onto the bed and Brett got on top of me. He began running his hands over my body and grinding into me. I yelled, hoping that someone downstairs might hear me, and I tried to get away from him, but his weight was heavy. Brett groped me and tried to take off my clothes. He had a hard time because he was very inebriated, and because I was wearing a one-piece bathing suit underneath my clothing. I believed he was going to rape me. I tried to yell for help. When I did, Brett put his hand over my mouth to stop me from yelling. This is what terrified me the most and has had the most lasting impact on my life.
Brett Kavanaugh was clearly very emotional as he denied the allegations.
I'm not questioning that Dr. Ford may have been sexually assaulted by some person in some place at some time. But I have never done this to her or to anyone. That's not who I am. It is not who I was. I am innocent of this charge.
Kavanaugh also argued that the Democratic Party has turned the confirmation process into a witch hunt.
This confirmation process has become a national disgrace. The Constitution gives the Senate an important role in the confirmation process, but you have replaced advice and consent with search and destroy. Since my nomination in July, there's been a frenzy on the left to come up with something, anything, to block my confirmation.
It is possible that the Senate Committee on the Judiciary will, by Friday, issue a recommendation to the Senate to vote on the appointment of Judge Kavanaugh. It would allow the vote on Kavanaugh's appointment to take place as early as Saturday.
The new Italian government has angered EU officials by unveiling their plans on a budget deficit amounting to 2.4% of GDP for the next 3 years. The government in Rome plans to fund a major expansion of welfare spending, whilst also cutting taxes and boosting public infrastructure projects. EU leaders in Brussels oppose such plans, as Italy's state debt is the highest in the EU. The coalition government wants the EU to back off defending their budget by arguing that the parties are fulfilling the campaign promises that got them elected.
The increased budget deficit is viewed as a victory for the party leader of the Five Stars movement, Luigi Di Maio, and Matteo Salvini of Lega, over the technocratic Minister of Finance, Giovanni Tria. We are now approving the budget deficit, which will allow us to move forward with the People's Budget Law. We have talked for a long time and now we can start. We can finally have the People's Law, which includes citizens' income, citizens' pension scheme, reforms of the pension scheme, money for those who have been swindled by the banks, and all of that which we have promised to do. People on the streets of Rome are surprised that an elected government actually plans to keep its election promises. I am confident because I feel for the first time that we are doing something new. It's right to have this new experience and to have confidence in this government. Meanwhile, EU officials are less than thrilled by the news. The former Trotskyist and current European Commissioner for Economic and Financial Affairs, Pierre Moscovici, claims that the budget will spell disaster for the future. He has previously stated that little Mussolinis currently rule in Italy. If the Italians continue to go into debt, then what happens? At a certain point, interest rates rise. It becomes harder to service that debt, to pay it back. And let the Italians be under no illusions. Every euro which is put towards paying back that debt is a euro that's not going towards the motorways, education and social justice. The new Italian budget is another headache for Brussels, which is already preoccupied with handling Brexit and the EU's process of trying to place sanctions on Poland and Hungary. It seems as if the European Commission is losing friends in several member states at once.
Thank you very much for joining us here this evening at Poland Daily. I'm John Carter. Join us after the break for Poland Daily Weather, and then join me after that for Poland Daily Business.